Welcome back to another Reading and Correcting with me, Kindar, the Tiger Writes, and Ty, the Tiger Supervisor. These are where I read a chapter from one of my stories and correct it as I go. If you want to listen to these live, it's every Tuesday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Time on Twitch and YouTube. And if you are looking to support me, that is on my Patreon. Today, we are doing Chapter 19 of The Technician's Fight. Alrighty, so this is not entirely certain, but I suspect that what's taking place is that I'm using this chapter to establish a passage of time. And in respecting the back and forth between a chapter for Graal, a chapter for Jeremy, I'm hitting a problem here specifically that so much time passes between the two chapters that by the time Jeremy deals with having sex with his friends, it's not realistic. Like, why did he wait 2 months to start that? And my solution, what I think I'm going to do when I do the second draft, is I'm going to take both chapter 19 and 20, and neither are sufficiently big that it doesn't work as one, and basically make it a chapter of back and forth within the chapter, changing point of view back and forth, so that things happen in a tighter time frame for Jeremy. I'm sure there's other ways to do it, but that's the one that, and that's basically my note to myself, so that I do that next chapter. Sorry, not chapter, but in the second draft. Explain to me, Gralgiran said, working at keeping his tone level while eyes locked with the hunter, why you had sex with a prisoner. I didn't get the chance when we had the other Earthers on board. He was amicable to the idea, and her ears folded back. I didn't realize what he'd do. That was a reaction? And how did you think what you did was acceptable behavior? She looked confused. I've had sex with Zen often enough when he's in a cell. He stared. You're on a short-name basis with him. The quartermaster is a known quantity, part of the crew. He stood and glared. That was an Earther who boarded my ship and attempted to kidnap one of us. And you thought you just got to fuck him? Alpha, Beta, Crosonarok, Frisimar Gretel said, and closed his muzzle when the glare was turned on his way. Don't even try to explain her behavior. He looked at the hunter again. And if that wasn't egregious enough, you went in his cell dressed. He used your tablet to get the others out, to get information on where they wanted to go. How am I to think you aren't an accessory to their escape? I didn't mean to. I just wanted... You are a hunter. What you want comes well after what the gods want of you. What your alpha demands of you. You and your pack guards prisoner. They are not your bedmates. Her ears. Yeah, if she can fold her eyes back, I'm impressed. Her ears folded back and she looked at the floor. Yes, Alpha. He considered her before tapping the unlock of the door on his desk as well as the intercom to it. Beta Patrick cell, but just Bill. Enter with your pack. The investigation Beta and his pack stepped in. Even if Gralgiran wanted a better way to proceed, she'd taken that away. Escort the civilian to her cell. She looked about to protest in dismay, but one of the Beta's hunter took her arms and pulled her away. Alpha, or Beta said once the door closed, and again he shut his muzzle under the glare. When did things grow so lax in the cell that they became nothing more than a leisure alley for the packs assigned there? It's not... They swallowed. He swallowed. There's little to do, Alpha. So her behavior is my fault? Because I run an orderly ship, you feel you can let your hunters fuck whoever they want? Is that what it means to be a hunter now? Tell me, Which of the gods told you prisoner could be used for your pleasure and demand their meddling if the investigation reveals one of yours used their position to force a prisoner to have sex with them? They wouldn't, he protested. Same as she wouldn't have sex with an Earther heading to the incarceration center? Do you have any idea what I'll have to do if the investigation into how they hacked our system has even the suspicion there was help from within the crew? She would never. She helped them escape. She was tricked, Alpha Day. She admitted to initiating it. All we have, unless the recordings to that of the block has distinct enough sound. Oh boy. I mean, I can I can excuse the clunky wording because he's angry. But I'm not sure if I should. All we have, unless the recording in the block has distinct enough sound to make out our word, is her claim of that. All we have, unless the recording from that block is distinct enough. Whoops. If he's angry, he's not going to go all over. Is distinct enough to make out her words is her claim of that. The cells are listened to in case they reveal something while talking among themselves. That was turned off. Care to guess by who? The beta's eyes widened as his ears vanished under his thick head fur. Yeah, you have to wonder why she did that. She just didn't want to. Horror filled his gaze. Yes, that means she knew what she was initiating was wrong at a minimum. But stop! It's too late to defend her. You were her beta. You were supposed to protect her. I'm trying. That means you should have seen to it she never even thought of engaging in that behavior. He ground his teeth. Leave. You and your pack are suspended until I decide otherwise. And if you say one word, beta, you will be more than a You will be more than a civilian until then. You are going to be her cellmate. The male closed his mouth and, shoulder slumped, left his office. Fuck! He dropped in his seat and let himself fall back until the side blocked most of his view. Was he at fault here? The beta was young, but he had the beta was young, but he had graduated from training with honors, had distinguished himself on the line multiple times before applying to join a ship. None of the betas he'd served under until becoming one himself had reported behavior that hinted to this kind of lack. Could the fact he ran an orderly ship had caused this? Did the 3 other packs who looked over the cells also do this? He needed to rework how things were done there. Maybe he pushed himself out of the seat. He wanted to hit someone. He should head to the hunters section and get in some training, but he wasn't in a state to be among others, even the crew. They might understand what that was like. He had a bad day, but he would not force them to confront it, which meant he needed to bring the training to him. His office wasn't a great place for it, but it beat stewing in his anger. He tapped the top of the desk to bring Brell's calm and had a different idea. What he really needed was to burn off this energy. He needed someone who would outlast him. He knew exactly who. He contacted the engineer. The chime told him he'd arrived, and Gralgiran stood opening the door. Jeremy entered, looking confused. You needed to see me, Captain. He'd been clear when he'd asked Alex if he could spare Jeremy for a few hours. His captain had business with him. His friend would know what that business was, but he wouldn't hint of it. Considering Alex's usual tone when speaking as the engineer, Jeremy had no idea what was about to happen. Yes. Gralgiran walked to his heart and slowly reached by him to lock the door. What are you doing? Jeremy asked, the confusion not diminishing. Gralgiran grinned. I'm about to abuse my rank. He pulled his mate to him. I'm about to fuck you until I can't breathe, and then you are going to fuck me until I can't think. It's the middle of. Gralgiran bared his teeth. Maybe you didn't hear me, technician. I don't care what the rules are. If you don't do what I tell you, I'm going to space you. Jeremy narrowed his eyes. We are going to talk about what happened to put you in this mood, he undid his pants, after we fucked. Do you think she's really in league with them? His heart asked while Gralgiran panted. Did he really expect him to think after Jeremy had done exactly what he told him to? No, but that's not going to matter if the investigation doesn't conclusively show the hack only took advantage of us hacking them first. If there's a hint of internal assistance, she's the only suspect. And because she deactivated the recording feed for that specific cell, I have no record of what they said. How about a mentalist? I'm sure Leia would be willing to help you. As strong as she is, I won't be able to trust what she finds. We receive training to withstand interrogations. It also makes us more adept at keeping mentalists out of our head. She has one of the best scores in mental resistance in recent year. But isn't it in her favor to cooperate? Especially if she's going to have the psychologist see what she wants her to. You can do that? Some can, as the experiment have linked it to a strong resistance. I need two more, as strong as she is, to have a chance of getting something I could trust. There are no other mentalists on the ship? None of her strength, or even close to it. It would be noted in their civilian file, and even if they're civilians, I would have been notified. You know what? Oh, citizen files. Yeah, I'm keeping that. Because the thing I'm implying here is that every citizen has a file. So it's not linked to the mentalist. It's the fact that they're civilians. I'm sorry you've been put in this situation. Thank you. He licked Jeremy's cheek. And thank you for going along with this. What are you thanking me for? I didn't go along with anything. You forced me to do it all. I protested and fought as hard as I can, but I'm just a little Earther against a big bad Kelsirian with no respect for his rank. He laughed and kissed Jeremy. Thank you anyway. You should get back to work. I can't wait for the engineer to comment on how I smell. Tell him to lick it off you. Jeremy considered this. Sex. Twice in a few hours. Yes, I could go with that. He grinned. But one thing. If you're going to abuse me like this, get a proper couch installed. The floor is fucking cold. It took 2 days, but Gralgiran was happy with the new procedures he and the 8 betas he'd selected to take over the cell's duty had come up with. Doubling the personnel meant halving how long each hunter worked, which would lower the chances they'd give into boredom. The rest of the time would be divided between various training, from how to deal with escaping prisoners to their proper treatment to straight up combat training. He was giving the betas latitude to make changes as required as the training required. But he wouldn't give any leeway when it came to engaging with the prisoners. Going forward, they were off limit, and the punishment for anyone caught engaging with them had been increased. You're dismissed, he told them, and stood as well. He had an appointment to get to. Gralgiran flopped on top of him, nuzzling his mane. Again? Gralgiran chuckled and shouldered his friend off him and onto the bed, then climbed between his legs. Definitely. Are you okay? He asked Jeremy, whose skin was pinker than usual. He didn't think it was because of the reservoir's heat or the intense light. It's just weird being ogled like this. Ever since the video of me and Tomarin has been circulated, people are looking at me like I'm on the menu. Having them look at me while I'm naked isn't making it seem more normal. Has anyone harassed you? No, those I've turned down have been understanding. It's just this entire situation. It's been a month now. You'd think people would get used to it. Gralgiran nuzzled his heart's neck. Take it from someone lucky enough to ogle you for more than a year now. We never get enough of you. You realize you're going to make me inappropriate for being in public. Gralgiran nibbled, then Jeremy moaned. A place that allows you to be naked also allows for your body to have a natural reaction to that nakedness. He nuzzled the ear and whispered, and it's good to show them what they could have if they became your friend. The elbow in his side didn't have the effect Jeremy had to expect, so he stepped away with a chuckle. You are being presumptuous with who I'll have sex with, considering how few of them I am having sex with. Still uncomfortable with him outranking you? There's more to it than that. I know you said sex doesn't mean love, but I know he'd like something more. And he has a mate, and I have you, and if you love him, it doesn't mean you love me less. But what if I don't? Is it fair to him if I don't feel the way he does? So long as he knows, then it's his decision. Jeremy nodded. I'll keep that in mind, then took off. See you when I'm done swimming. Gralgiran paused in the large lounge on his way to the shower before he and Jeremy headed out to eat. The food prep and eating area was, again, bare of his heart's usual cooking tools. Unlike their previous apartment, an island counter separated the food prep from the eating area. He'd thought it was a good addition, considering how often Jeremy's cooking experiments spread over the table. Jeremy hadn't cooked anything since they moved in. He paused by Jeremy's workroom. As usual, the door was open, and he was over at his drafting table. One of the six printer was working on something. Two others had parts for him. He'd wanted to give him a larger one so he wouldn't have to borrow repairs, but that would have required redesigning the apartment to account for how large it was. Hopefully, if they change apartment again, it would come with enough warning he could have the needed modification done first. Jer, he greeted him when his hearts raised his head. I'm grabbing a shower, then we can go eat. I'll join you. A few taps on the table, and Jeremy was by him. I could do with working up an appetite. He decided not to mention the unused food prep area. There was someone else he could make aware of it, and she would be better placed to help his heart if this was something he needed to overcome. And that concludes chapter 19 of The Technician's Fight. If you are enjoying this, please leave a like. If you want to know when the next chapter will be up, subscribe and hit the bell. If you want to read this story, it's up on Ream Story. And if you want to listen to these live, it's every Tuesday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Time on Twitch and YouTube. Links are in the notes, and with that, I shall wish you a good day.